I had to get a microphone. I'm not allowed to use Father Gerald's microphone, and Father Guy's using mine. He's the guest, so we're letting him use mine. So I'm using a handheld. I'm not going to sing a solo or anything, so don't worry. You know, yesterday I had the privilege of attending the funeral mass for a priest friend of mine down in Providence, Rhode Island, at the Cathedral of Saints Peter and St. Paul. And some of you may know I did my undergrad at Providence College, and I also lived at the seminary in Providence, Our Lady of Providence Seminary. And when I was down there, I met a lot of great priests, a lot of great people, and a lot of people that were influential in my life, and this priest was one of them. And as you all know, we all have people that come into our lives, some for short periods and some for longer periods, especially when we're starting something new, when we're young, maybe when we're in grade school, high school. We have a mentor that was a teacher that was good to us, that taught us, that challenged us. We go to college, some of us, and we have mentors in college. We start a new job, and someone's there to help us get our feet wet. And I'm sure each and every one of you today has someone or has a handful of people that have come into your lives that have been influential to you, that have helped you, that have challenged you. And some of those people, as I said, are there for short periods and some for longer. And that is one of the blessings I want to talk about today. That blessing from the Lord are the people that come into our lives. Today we're celebrating the Feast of the Transfiguration, one of my favorite feasts because it's one of those feasts that sometimes is forgotten about, sometimes is glossed over, and it kind of just follows along the regular path of our liturgical year, but it has such deep theological meaning, and there's a lot going on in that story. Picture yourself in that scenario. You're Jesus' disciple when Jesus walked the earth, and you're walking with him, and you've seen all the miracles that he's been doing in his time as he walked the earth. You're seeing all the people he touched. And now he's leading you up a mountain to pray. And you go up that mountain, and he performs this amazing miracle in front of you. He sends you this amazing blessing, where he's shone like the sun, his face beaming with light. And then there are two people at his side, Moses and Elijah. What a blessing for those disciples that day. And you may wonder, why was Moses and Elijah there? You know, Jesus is there, and then they're at either one of his side. And why would they be there? Well, if we think about it theologically, Moses in the Old Testament was the keeper of the law, was the giver of the law. And Elijah was one of the greatest prophets in the Old Testament, prophesizing the word of God in the world. So now Jesus comes, and he's now the fulfillment of those two things that those important figures did in the Old Testament. He is the fulfillment of the law. He is the fulfillment of prophecy. So theologically, that can be one reason why those two characters, those two figures from the Old Testament, are with Jesus in this time. The second blessing for all of us to consider, that is often harder, I think, for you and probably and for me too. Jesus says to his disciples, well, God says to his disciples, "This is my beloved Son, listen to him." Listen to him. How many times has someone said that to you? Listen to God. He'll tell you what you should do. Easier said than done, right? And when we think about listening, God speaks to us in prayer through silence. Very deep silence. And that's very hard in the day and age that we live in, when we have a phone that's attached to our hip. Whenever we find even 10 to 15 to 20 seconds of silence, we immediately go to that phone and we're checking our email, social media, whatever it may be. The silence is now gone. Or if we're in the car, we're driving, hopefully none of you text and drive, but we're driving, okay, we're going to turn the radio on, and the silence is gone. And all of these things are good things, but sometimes we need to be in deep silence, and that's very hard to do. So I would challenge everyone here today, in order to listen to him. Some of you might be looking for answers for something in your life, some situation in your life, and you may say, well, I try to listen, but I don't hear him. Give it 5 minutes, 10 minutes of silence, whether it be in adoration, either here or some other parish, whether it be in your home, whether you're driving to work. If you find yourself alone, give the Lord 5 to 10 minutes of complete silence, contemplating the blessings he has given us. And we sure will find an answer, the answer that we need. So the two blessings, the people who come into our lives, and we're grateful for those people, but we also need to listen to him, and we do that through deep contemplative silence.